What's up, team? How's it going? Sorry I look like such a fucking slob right now in my shitty-ass undershirt, but I just finished up working out literally like 30 seconds ago, and I was like, I'm gonna bang out a bonus video. It's been a little too long. So, wow, a lot has happened in the past couple weeks. I went on that vacation to go and visit my family, and since then, I've just really been back into the full swing of things. A lot of changes, a lot of adjustments I've been making, so I'm just gonna run through them. Lately, probably my biggest obsession has been with time management. I listen to a lot of motivational stuff, and I'm really big on, using my time effectively and just always consistently trying to find ways to do things better, do things faster, do things more efficiently. And one of my obsessions lately has been with trying to find a way to delegate things to other people. And I took one big step, and I actually hired a maid, believe it or not. I was always under the impression that to hire a maid would be super expensive, and it would be like a formal process of me being the employer and her being like the maid who's just here all day cleaning shit. I had this weird picture in my head that just totally doesn't reflect the reality of the situation. It's more of a service. There are companies that provide a service that you simply pay to use for a certain number of hours. So what I'm doing is I'm having a maid come 2 hours a week. Sorry, I said that wrong. They're going to come every 2 weeks, and it should take them about 2 hours to clean my entire fucking apartment, because I live in a small apartment. It's called a studio. Functionally, it's more like a one-bedroom. Going to take 2 hours to clean the entire fucking place, make it totally spotless, and it's freeing up more productive time that I can spend working on self-improvement, working on growing my YouTube channel, working on doing things to make more money. And I'm so excited about this, because it's like I've had a breakthrough. I've found some new way to just level up in life and get more productive time, and get more done each day. It's like, how many hours do I spend cleaning my apartment a month? Honestly, it's not a lot, because, like, number one, I'm not a very messy person, and it's not a big priority to me. So on the one hand, my place is going to be a hell of a lot cleaner now going forward, but on the other hand, let's say I was spending maybe like 2 to 4 hours a month cleaning in the apartment cumulatively, like, whether we're talking vacuuming or cleaning bathrooms or sweeping the floor or whatever. Not 80-90% of those tasks now, someone else is going to take those off my hands, and I can just use that time to do what I want. And it's like, that might only be, 4 hours for me, or 5 hours for me. That's 5 extra hours a month right there. What if I found 3 other things I could delegate as well? Like laundry is another one I'm thinking about, or grocery shopping as well. And stocking my apartment with that kind of shit. I'm experimenting with the idea of getting a personal assistant to help me with these things. Let me be clear, by the way, I do not make a lot of fucking money. I work a day job that's enough to pay the bills and then some. I make just a little bit of money from YouTube. I mean, if you knew how little I made from YouTube, you'd probably cry yourself to sleep tonight, especially given how hard I work on my videos. But I don't make a lot of money, so I'm not coming at this from a perspective of like, oh, look at all this fucking disposable income I have. Dan Loke, he does a lot of self-improvement stuff and, content oriented towards like entrepreneurs and people who are just trying to improve their financial situation and life in general. He had a quote that really helped flip my thinking about this. He was talking about delegation, and he was like, responding to people who criticize his view on the subject or give him flack for it. They were like, oh, Dan, it's easy for you to say you can delegate stuff because you're rich and you have all this money. He said, no, you have it backwards. I only became rich and I started to become successful once I started to delegate things to other people, which freed up more productive time to spend working on myself, acquiring more skills, becoming more valuable in the marketplace, growing my business. It's not you become rich and then you delegate. It's you delegate and then that helps you to become rich. And that just it's like a total fucking mindset shift. And I think that really helped me to take the step. You know what really did it? There was actually one particular moment that I was like, I was frustrated as fuck, and I was like, I'm going to hire a fucking maid. I'm going to look into this. I cleaned my entire apartment. I moved all my furniture, and I specifically used a carpet cleaning machine, which I had never used before. But I don't know, my apartment just had kind of like it just has like a lingering weird smell sometimes. I don't know if it's like I need to open up windows more often or whatever, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes, you know, your apartment will just fucking smell weird, whether it's like because you were cooking some stuff or whatever the fuck it was. And I was like, you know what, maybe if I just carpet cleaned my carpets very thoroughly, that would just like make the place generally smell better as a general rule, because I've lived here for a couple years. I haven't like full on cleaned the carpets with any machines. So I was like, I'm gonna move all the furniture and all that shit and just like fully deep clean all the carpets. And in my mind, I was like, it'll take me an hour, hour and a half. Fucking took me like 4.5 hours to fully do it, because I had to move all the furniture and shit, and like I have a small space, so like I don't have a lot of room to move shit, so it was just cramped and uncomfortable, and I was up till 2 a.m. doing it. Super fucking frustrated. I finished up, and I was like, that fucking sucked. And I was just sitting there. I was like, I don't ever want to fucking spend my time doing this again. And I was like, what if I could just hire a fucking maid to just clean my apartment for me all the time? And I was so frustrated and just like so fed up that I was like, I'm gonna fucking look into it. I looked into it. I called a place. Customer service was super professional. Like, I'm still incredibly impressed with how great their customer service was. You know, the sales guy on the phone, the lady who like called to follow up the appointment, just like the company is running a really fucking tight ship. They know what they're doing. Great experience overall. I'm only spending $140 total each month to have my apartment fully deep cleaned every 2 weeks. I'm super happy about it because it frees up more time to do other stuff. And like I said, I'm dabbling in the idea of finding ways to delegate other things. I actually posted a sort of a job application on the site where it's like people who do a lot of they help people with like running errands and, you know, cleaning and laundry services and stuff like that. I posted an application on there, and I'm sort of toying with the idea of getting someone to be like a personal assistant where they wouldn't be a formal employee. It's more like with the gig economy we have now, people, they just sort of like, you know, someone says like, a client of yours might say, hey, I need help with this week, and it's like 2 hours of work and you're charging like $15 an hour or whatever. It's a lot more gig economy oriented from what I understand. That's one thing that always held me back, because I always thought to delegate tasks to somebody else, that meant that like I would be a former employee, and that would put me on the hook, and I would have to provide them with, you know, a certain number of hours and benefits and shit like that, and it just seemed super intimidating and all of that. But once you actually start to look into it and just ask the right questions, like, how exactly could I delegate this? What would that constitute? Would it be a service? Would it be hiring an individual? Could I do it through a company, a website? Once you start actually looking into it and asking the correct questions, you find it's not nearly as scary as you think it is. And I'm really glad that I'm going down this path, because it's just freeing up more time for me to do what matters to me. And another thing about delegation that's very important is it sort of pays for itself in a sense if you're using your time correctly. If you're gonna have a maid and you're just gonna sit on your fucking couch with that extra 2 hours or whatever and just like be a fucking slob, then it's not going to pay for itself. But if you're using that time productively to work more at your job, to work more on growing your business, you're investing that time into yourself, and it's ultimately an investment it's going to pay dividends in the future. So it's not like it's just money that you're throwing in the fucking trash can or something, you know? It gives you more time to do the things that matter to you. So that laundry services is one thing I'm looking into. Because it's like, even if I only spend, you know, 2, 3, 4 hours a month on laundry, what else could I do with that time, you know? How else could I improve? How else could I work on the next project and take steps forward with that time? I'm really paranoid about the whole laundry thing, though, because a lot of the clothing I wear, not a lot of it, some of it that I wear, it's like cold wash only, tailored, fits me really nice, reasonably expensive, like dress shirts and stuff like that. And I've had bad experiences in the past where I do the laundry incorrectly, or somebody else did the laundry incorrectly who was doing it for me to do me a favor. They threw shit in the dryer or washed it on warm or hot when it should not have been. Stuff that fit me really nicely ended up shrinking, didn't fucking sleeves up to here after they were done with it, and it's just like, the thing was totally unwearable, and it's super frustrating to have that happen. I'm worried about delegating something to a person and having them just totally fuck it up, or even just one mistake, if you're handing it off to a laundry service and it's like just one day they don't get the memo that this is cold wash only, or don't put this in the fucking dryer, or they mix it up with some other asshole's laundry. That's all it takes. And then it's like all that clothing. It's, the money is one thing, but also the time invested in just like picking out the items and going to get them tailored and so forth. It's a good amount of time and money that you invest into those items, and that's one thing that paranoids me. And I just don't want someone to fuck that up. So that's sort of holding me back. Brian Tracy, when he talks about delegation, his rule is basically that if you can hire somebody to do something at least 80% as effectively as you can, then you should delegate it to them. And I have sort of a different way of thinking about it. I'm like, if the consequences of a person making a mistake at that thing aren't really that dire, then you should probably delegate it, especially if you don't want to be doing that activity. So, like, with grocery shopping, for example, if some dude gets me the wrong fucking, like, milk, like 1% instead of 2% or whatever, or grabs the wrong fucking package of meat, or, frozen pizza bullshit or whatever, I don't care. It's food. I put it in my stomach and it keeps me from dying, Like, that's my mindset towards nutrition. If there's a cleaning lady here and she fucking like misses a spot or something, who gives a fuck? She's still going to clean 100 times better than I would, because I do what's called positive procrastination. I put that stuff off. I don't really work on that sort of thing too often, and I just, even if she makes a mistake 10% of the time, it's still going to be 100% better than what I'm doing. 200, 300% better, so that doesn't matter. But something like my laundry, where someone makes one fucking mistake on one occasion, and then all my shit is shrunk and unwearable, and I'm like, well, fuck, there goes, those 9 dress shirts or whatever. That's one thing that I'm scared to delegate. So I'm thinking more about it. I'm toying with the idea. Maybe I could even just delegate half my laundry, which might sound ridiculous. Like, they take the shit that I don't care what happens to it, like fucking wash it, dry it, whatever, and they handle that, and I just do the cold wash stuff where I literally just have to like throw it in the wash and then just bring it back here and air dry it. It would save me some time. I don't know if it's worth the investment, but it's something I'm toying with. Those are the 3 main areas of delegation I've been thinking about, are groceries, laundry, and the maid service. One thing especially that would make delegating the laundry and the grocery shopping much more worthwhile is if I could somehow set it up to where the person doesn't just like bring the shit to me and then knock on the fucking door and they're like, here you go, bud. But if I could somehow set it up to where they have access to my apartment and they actually like bring the stuff in and put it away for me, ideally when I'm not here. How nice would that be if they just... Grocery shopping is totally fucking handled. Your laundry is always handled. If you're here working on something, they're not in the background, like, making a bunch of noise and distracting you. It gets done when you're at work, when you're doing other things, and it's just like, it's on autopilot behind you. That would be ideal. Although, I don't know how to set up that sort of a system, because laundry services, companies that do that sort of thing, grocery services, I don't think they have that sort of a system. So to get to that level, I think what it would take would be... sorry, just losing my train of thought here. I'm thinking about like 10 fucking things at once right now. Like what I'm going to talk about next, what I'm going to do after this, there's a lot going on up here right now. It's also been a long day. I worked on a video for like 12 hours straight, immediately worked out afterwards, and then just like boom, straight to doing this. Like I was saying, delegation, getting, so the way to get to that point where somebody would actually be putting all that shit away for me, I think to get there, it would have to be like a personal assistant who I've built up trust with, and I can give them a key and some sort of that, or maybe some sort of company where like they have insurance to where if your shit does get stolen or whatever, there's insurance behind it and the people are vetted and background checked. So I know there's a way to do it. I don't want to fall into the trap of being like, I don't have an answer right now, so therefore like it's never going to happen. Because, there are plenty of successful, wealthy people who this shit is delegated. Their fucking laundry is done for them. Like, ultra millionaires and super successful people, I really doubt they spend their fucking time, folding their laundry and shit like that, or grocery shopping. They probably delegate it and have people that just do that for them. So they come home and their clothing is there and it's ready and dry cleaned and everything. So I know there's a way to do it. It's just a question of figuring out how, what the best approach is, what things I can delegate, what things I won't delegate. And this is one of those things where it's like, if I had been doing it 6 months ago, I'd be happy. Or another way to put it is like, why didn't I start doing this 6 months ago? Whenever you make a change like that, where you think where you fucking like slap yourself on the forehead and you're frustrated about the fact that you haven't been doing it for a long time, that's how you know it's a good change that you're implementing. And I've been doing a lot of changes like that on the YouTube side of things as well, which I'm also going to talk about in this video. It's probably going to be a long video because, like I said, I have a lot to fucking talk about, and I do want to get to a lot of it because it's I think it's interesting, the developments that I've been making right now. So we're going to plow forward. One more thing about delegation. At least one more thing. My mindset was all wrong in the past about, like, I had a really binary mindset where it's like, the only way that I can get more productive time is if I fully transition to where I don't need to work a day job. And it's like, I have the amount of time I have now, and that's the time I'm going to have until I can escape the day job, and then I will have more time. What a huge fucking mistake that was, to think in such binary terms like that. Because, the way I'm thinking about it now is I'm looking at activities I'm doing, and I'm like, how could I do this more effectively, or more quickly? Or what things am I currently doing that I don't need to do anymore? What things could I just totally stop doing, or do more infrequently, and get basically the same results? And it's just questions like this are what I should have been asking, because, you trim the fat in certain areas, and it's like seemingly insignificant time savings really do add up if you start to do it in like 10 or 20 different areas. Little insignificant things, like if formerly you would take 15-minute showers where you chill the fuck out and you just relax and have a good time in there. I like taking long showers and, relaxing in there and so forth. But what if you trimmed a 15-minute shower down to a 5-minute shower? That's 10 minutes a day. You're saving an hour a week. You're saving 48 hours a year right there. One full work week plus an 8-hour day. That's what you're saving if you simply cut your shower time back by 10 minutes. I mean, that's incredible. And then what if you could find, 5 other things you're doing where you could save that amount of time? It's instead of 50 hours a week that you're saving, you'd be saving 250 hours, 50 hours a year, rather. Instead of 50 hours a year that you're saving, you'd be saving 250 hours a year. I would murder an entire village in 250 hours. I mean, I could tear a fucking building down in that time. 250 hours. How many books could you read? How many more videos could you produce? If my average video takes me like 40 to 50 hours to produce, that's 5 extra videos a year. What if I found 10 areas where I could save that amount of time? When you start to ask these questions, and when you start to think about it on a long-term time scale, you really start to understand that the possibilities are just enormous with this sort of thing. And, God, something I keep thinking about as I'm working on this video is, like, maybe I should get back into making motivational content as well, because I just really enjoy talking about this. And, self-improvement and motivation, it's probably my twin passion, along with, like, debunking shit and doing the videos I do on YouTube. My mindset right now, though, is just, like, go all in on a skeptical human and just grow that channel and then move on to something else. I don't know. Maybe, honestly, I'm gonna go back to doing the motivational stuff, because I'm having a good time, I gotta say, talking about this. Anyway, I'll think it over. So, yeah, that's the idea, is just, like, what are some other ways that I could find productive time? Like, what things, if I used to spend 15 minutes a day scrolling Twitter, what if I just totally cut that out? And I just, like, stopped doing that. I barely fucking check social media now. I have browser extensions set up where it, like, it makes it so that when you go to check Twitter, your feed is not even there. You don't see your notifications pop up. So all you see is, like, the option to post your shit. You post the shit that you're there to post, and then boom, everything disappears and you're done. And that's it. Checking email. Who the fuck needs to check their email 20 times a day? I sure as hell don't. If I check my email once a week, there is absolutely nothing in my inbox that can't wait a week. So I'm doing that less. And I'm just, like, continually finding ways to streamline and do things faster. Like with my editing process as well. One thing I used to do is every time I would include a photo that's that somebody else created, like a Creative Commons photo or something that's licensed that I could use, I would provide attribution for the photo. Like, here's the author, here's the website I got it from. pretty much every website I was getting the photos from, it doesn't require that. They're like, no, you can just fucking take these photos and use them however you want. So I realized, I was like, why, if it takes 20 seconds per photo and I do like 100 photos a video, that's several minutes right there per project. And I'm just like finding ways to streamline and do it faster. And I made the upgrade to where I'm using different websites where they provide like stock video footage and photos as well that I can use, where they're also like, you take this, you get the license, you pay for it through your subscription or whatever payment method you have, and you can just use it however the fuck you want, and you don't need to provide attribution. So again, it's just saving time. And also the video clips I'm using, I just throw those in and it's like, boom, there's no editing required. It's just like, here's the video I want. It's almost like drag and drop. It streamlines the editing process in ways that I didn't anticipate. And it also frees me up to edit more creatively, because I'm not like having to show the attribution on screen at some point. So it's not like I have to zoom out to the certain level to show that. So it's freeing me up to do things more creatively, to do things that I want to. It saves me time. There are just so many advantages to it that just start piling up once you start asking the right questions, and once you're not afraid to spend money, to invest in yourself, to invest in your business. And it's like all the benefits start to accumulate and pile onto each other, and you see advantages that you would not have expected just looking forward before you made that jump, if that makes sense. So that's been my major obsession lately. It's just like auditing my life, looking at everything I do, asking how can I do it quicker, what can I pass off, and I'm just gonna keep thinking like that, because it's, I feel like it really does help you to level up. And I posted a tweet about it where I was like, I've been spending so much time thinking about time management lately that it's almost becoming time inefficient. That's almost how it's been lately. I've just been totally obsessed about it. Those are the main things about delegation. In terms of the editing front, even just today I made a couple fucking improvements on that. So there are some new programs and stock photo and video websites I've been using that I'm really excited about. The really, really top tier shit, like the incredible quality images, stock photo sites like Shutterstock or Adobe Stock, they're really expensive. And I was thinking in terms of like, well, the amount of photos that I need to use in my videos, it's like I'm not getting that amount from these services, so it's not worth the spending amount. But what I realized is the really high quality shit, I can use those only for thumbnails. So it's like, instead of spending 2 hours on Photoshop taking some mediocre images and like trying to make them better so that they're suitable for a thumbnail, I can just pay it's a pretty small amount. It's like $30 a month, and you get access to 10 images at that amount. So it's like it's an investment. $60 a month, it's nothing to like scoff at, but you're getting incredible quality images, and it also saves you time, because I redid the thumbnail for my last video, which was that why is the mainstream media so biased video, and the original thumbnail was just sort of like meh. It didn't really fit with the content of the video that well, and I just wasn't really happy with it. And so I went into fucking Shutterstock. I found a really good thumbnail. I just cropped it to where it fit. It took me 5 minutes to do that. And it's just like, boom, it looks so much better than the thumbnail I had. And if it would have taken me 2 hours to create a thumbnail my own way, the old-fashioned way, I saved myself 1 hour and 55 minutes. So it's like, okay, I'm spending $60 to have access to these thumbnails, but if it's saving me 2 hours of video, if it's saving me an hour of video, or whatever it may be, because I need to make very few modifications to what's already a really solid finished product. In a way, you're sort of delegating if you think about it, because you're delegating the labor of creating the photos that you're using. You're passing it off to someone else who's a professional. They're producing professional grade shit, and it looks better than anything I would create anyway. So yes, you're spending the money, but you're saving the time as well, and you can use that time to make more money. So just all these different ways, all these ways I'm improving. It's like they pay for themselves. I'm reinvesting into myself, and you see dividends from it. So it becomes really exciting when you start to go down this path, because you see that it's like, how else can I grow? How else can I improve? What else can I spend money on to improve things for me? And the biggest mistake I ever made, if I could pass this off to you, as a YouTuber, as a video creator, one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was being cheap, was not being willing to spend money on things. For the first year or two that I made videos, I just used the shitty-ass software that was available on Windows. It's like Windows Live Movie Maker or some shit. Very limited in terms of what you can do. Really just like drag and drop some photos and crop them and put them together. A few crappy-ass transitions. And the $60 a month price tag for the Adobe Creative Cloud, which is all their programs, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, those are really the two that I use. I don't use any of the other ones. But the $60 a month, I was like, oh, I'm not going to pay for that. Once I made the jump to Premiere Pro and saw that the editing possibilities are endless and I can do so much more in the software and just improve the quality of my content so much, you start doing that and then you're like, fuck, man, all that time I could have been doing this and I could have been doing it better. And then just in the past couple months, just in the past month or two, making the upgrade to spending money on high quality stock video footage and stock photos that I can use. I'm using like fucking 5 or 6 different companies. Storyblocks, Envato Elements, 2020, SoundSnap, Adobe Stock, Shutterstock. I'm just like, I put a lot of fucking money into this. I did the math on it. This is like $1,500 right here that I'm spending a year. These are big investments, but they're investments that are worth it because the quality of the images that I can use and in the video footage and in the templates and in the transitions and in the sound effects and stuff, all of that makes for a much better finished product that's ultimately going to help grow the channel faster because people are going to be more impressed with the quality of the content and share it more. It's going to grow the channel faster. It's going to pay for itself. It's an investment that ultimately pays for itself. And that's the thing I can't stress enough is all this time I wasn't doing these things that I should have been doing. And I guess the advice I would pass on is don't be afraid to spend money investing in yourself, investing in your business, because it really does, in a sense, pay for itself. And it also makes you just feel so much better about the finished product you're creating. Like, when I watched the last video I made where I had access to so many of these tools, I'm so much more happy with the product compared to the type of stuff that I was producing 2 years ago. Again, it's one of those changes where I'm like, why did I not start doing this 6 months ago? So it's a good change, according to that metric. And it also just makes you feel better about yourself as a person when you invest more in yourself. Brian Tracy has a quote I love where he says, the more you invest in yourself, the more you believe in yourself. And I totally do feel that way, because once you start to spend money on things like this and invest in yourself and the quality of your product or service that you're offering, it becomes so much better. You just like one simple change, one simple product, one simple service, and you level up from here to here in one fucking step, in one day because of what you have access to. Sorry, I accidentally stopped recording because my fucking computer blows, I guess. But back to it. So once one change and you level up from like here to here in just like a day or two. And what I also realized is the really high quality shit, you have to pay for it. The really incredibly quality resources and images and stock video and sound effects, people don't give that shit out for free because, the people who make them are professionals. To get professional grade stuff, it might require paying professional grade prices, but ultimately it means that you can in turn produce a professional grade product or service that you're offering to the world. So it's just don't be cheap. Don't be afraid to spend money. Like, what the fuck else are you going to spend your money on if not investing in yourself, if not investing in your business? You're going to buy like a shiny fucking item to have in your home, spend that. I mean, you'd be amazed how much money I spend on just books alone. Just constantly fucking buying new books. Probably buying like at least 5 new books a month. And it's not cheap to do this, all these different softwares and programs and shit that I'm investing in. I ran the numbers just earlier today because I was curious. When you add together like the editing softwares and all the different programs and services I subscribe to, I'm spending close to like $3,000 a year on this. And that might seem like a fuckload to spend, but like, this is what I want to do with my life is, you know, make these videos, and I want to become, I don't just want to become successful in this space. Like, I want to be the fucking best in this space. And to get to that level, you can't be afraid to spend money and invest in yourself. And it's like $3,000 is a small price to pay for that. I will gladly work whatever more hours I need to with the fucking day job to fund that. I don't care, like, whatever the fuck it takes. If this is what it takes to get where I want to get, then I'm going to go for it. And I'm happy to do that. And especially if you do become successful, looking back at that minor investment, you're like, I used to fucking sweat $3,000. Like, are you kidding me? I plan to get to a point where I'm making so much and I'm so successful that $3,000 is like fucking pocket change to me, you know? And you can't operate with that scarcity mindset where you're like, you know, I can't spend this money. It's too much. I mean, it's, you know, it's going to hold you back. It's going to limit you. It's going to prevent you from reaching your full potential. And if you really want to take that next step and move up and find ways to really make improvements that are not just incremental, but like leaps and bounds, you're going to have to throw some fucking money at whatever the problem is, whatever you're trying to invest in. The services, the products, the really high quality stuff, it does take money, but once you do it, I promise you, you're always going to say it's worth it. Every one of these things I've spent money on, I totally fucking think it's worth it. Even a program I just unsubscribed from, Loomly. It's a really great idea. I don't think for what I do it works very well. I don't think the ROI is there on it, but the way it works is you can just batch produce a bunch of social media posts and then just prepare them in advance, schedule them, and then you can just cross-post them to multiple social media sites. So what I was doing was I was spending like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day maybe, just in one big section, producing a bunch of high quality social media posts, scheduling them for the whole month, and I was like, boom, I'm done worrying with social media. And it's a really great product, really great service. It was like I think 30 something a month, 40 bucks a month, which I felt was worth the peace of mind, because what I was doing previously was trying to like set alarms and periodically post stuff. I sort of decided I'm going to step away from that and just sort of step away from that manner of social media posting, because number one, the ROI didn't seem like it was there. I was looking at the engagement on those posts, wasn't nearly as high as I thought it would be. Like, it wasn't just spam I was posting, you know, it was like I was making substantive points from my video and, you know, providing the appropriate pictures or graphs or whatever it may be, and then, you know, providing a link to the video. But the ROI didn't seem like it was there on that. You know, like my social media followings were not really like growing to any sizable degree, despite using, you know, a couple hashtags and stuff like that. So I made the assessment. I was like, the ROI is not there on that. And so I decided to step away from it. But I don't regret spending that money, because it's like, it was a good experiment. It's a good service. I can always pick it up again in the future when I feel like maybe it's a better time to try that approach, or I could always take a different approach and delegate social media posting to a person or team who's like curating unique posts specific to the individual social media sites and making them much more effective than the approach I was taking. So I'm not afraid to pick it up again in the future. I don't regret spending that money though. It's, you know, even the money that goes down the drain, I still feel like it's the best money I ever spent, because it's like I'm trying to make improvements in a space that I care about, and it's something I'm passionate about. And it's like, I'm, you know, if every $1 out of the $10 I spend is seemingly wasted, or it goes to something that doesn't pan out the way I wanted it to, but the $9 other, it's like, wow, what an incredible investment. Why did I not do this 6 months ago? That's a pretty fucking good success rate. And I feel like in terms of the money I have been spending on this, the ratio is pretty goddamn good. So don't be afraid to spend money on stuff that'll help you improve. There's probably more I could talk about. I feel like I dumped a lot on you here. Maybe I'll record another bonus video here in a couple days and talk about some of the stuff I didn't hit, stuff that I forgot. But those are the main things I wanted to talk about in this one. Maybe I will start doing the motivational stuff again. Maybe I could set it to where I do like a set number of hours per week, because I really do enjoy talking about this stuff. the self-improvement oriented stuff, the improving of your life and so on. I'm going to think that over some more. Let me know what you guys think about the stuff I talked about here. Let me know some areas of my life that I could delegate to somebody else, stuff that I haven't considered maybe. Here I am delegating my decision making off to my fans, if you will. But no, if there are other areas you think like maybe you could do this to save some time and get more productive time, I'm all ears, because that's been my obsession lately. I'm going to call this video for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got some value out of this. And next video is debunking 9/11 truth or myths about thermite chips allegedly being found in the dust after the collapse. It's a super technical video, super detailed, looking at a lot of different arguments. I'm really enjoying the project. It's going to be really fucking long. Seems like the videos always end up longer than I expect them to be. But, you know, to make the points I want to make and to say everything I want to say, that's what it fucking takes, I guess. It's going to be a good video. Stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for your patronage, and you guys all take care.